Okay guys, today we're going to do cutter wheel tensioning, the cutter wheel drive belt. Okie doke. Okay, to do that, if you guys look where your engine is here, we're going to go down here and there are 1, 2, 9/16 bolts, okay? Just trust me, loosen those off, okay? Then we come around to the other side. And we see that there is our clutch, and underneath, 1 bolt there, 1 bolt there, and again 9/16. Loosen those off. That'll let the engine slide up and down, okay? So we can, because you're going to, you see that? Because you're going to have to adjust these belts anyways. So just do that, okay? Those 4 bolts where the engine slides, you can tell. Just take your time and look at them. All right. Then, again, we're going to loosen off this locking nut here. You guys can see that there? Okay. This will let the engine push forward or come back. All right. So there's that one there. And then we've got that one there. You see it? By your starter. Okay. That's another bolt that you, unloosen the locker and bring it back as much as you can to feel the gap. There's, you can stick your finger in through the wires in there and feel that it's been slacked off, okay? We'll do that because the engine, you see, it's not that hard. Sorry about that. Here we go, look. I don't know if you can see that, but the engine is moving on its own just by pulling the belts, eh? Okay, so now over here we have these beautiful little lock nuts for the pillow bearings. 1 and 2. Same thing on the other side, you can see them, okay, for the pillow bearings. So you want to loosen those off. It's, I think, a quarter, the heck is it? I see, yes. Yes. Anyway, so we're going to loosen those off. Here, just give me a second here, and we'll get right to it. It's not very difficult, guys. It's, yeah, 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so those bolts there are 3/4 of an inch. Okay, now what you do is, you see that? Another adjuster. So you loosen that bolt off, or that nut I should say, and then you'll be able to move this up or slack it off or move it down. Same thing over here. If you can see there. Okay. Right there. Sorry guys, there you go. See? You got a wrench on it there, you just unlock it. Loosen it up, unlock it, and that's, whatever, 19 mils, okay? So use that 19 mils there, and then we've got a 1/2 inch here that we're going to be able to move this pillow down or let it come up, depending on how straight the shaft is. So, okay, so you've done that, let's say. Now, you've loosened up those bolts for the pillow bearings, okay? You see them? 2 pillow bearings, the top ones. Obviously the bottom ones, when they're on, they don't need adjustment. They're just what they are. They're there. They don't move ever and ever. Okay, so here's the belt. All right, now I've heard some guys tell me that they've ran into problems where the jack shaft here is crooked, or that a pulley is coming off. And the reason that is because you have to measure. You have to tighten that belt to 120 pounds or 110 pounds. Here's the tool here. You put the torque wrench on it, and it can only deflect like 1/4 of an inch at 110 pounds with your torque wrench, okay? So what we're doing is, we want to tighten that to 110 pounds where it deflects 1/4 of an inch only. So what you're going to be doing is, you're going to be bringing this pillow bearing up. See what I mean? This pillow bearing on the left, you're going to be moving it up to get the tension on the belt. Now, this bearing here, we don't know what to do with it yet until we take a tape measure. Okay, and you can see that I've marked it in the middle with a magic marker there and to the shaft there. So you measure from there to there, and mine is 15 3/4. Sorry, 15 3/4, okay? Now, you do the same thing on the other side. So if this isn't right, just put it in the middle of that, the hex bolt there, and then measure it over here. See, I've already got it at 15 and 3/4 of an inch. You can be off by 1/4 of an inch, but why? If you can do it right, do it right. And that's because you'll get a lot of problems if you're way far off. It has to be like that. So you tighten the belt and you figure it out. Whether this has got to go up or down, you measure. It's not going to be 15 and 3/4 like mine. It'll just depend on how stretched your belt is. But the two measurements on, the measurement on this side here and the shaft there has got to be the same as this one here on this side. Okay, guys? So once you've done that, you've tightened it, and the measurement from here to here has got to be the same. That way you know that this shaft up here is going to be straight. It won't be left or right, okay? That's where you get a lot of problems with things, pulleys coming off or whatever. So it's not that complicated, okay? I'm going to go over quickly on how to take these pulleys off just in case. Right here by the pin, there's a hexagon little bolt in there, and you loosen that off, okay? Because it just holds the pin. Even if it wasn't there, it would probably, pin wouldn't go anywhere, but still it's there. Then you take these bolts off here and put them in there, and slowly tighten, and the pulley will remove itself. Same thing here. This one's going to have a little down here, little hole there. There's an Allen key in there, and again you do the same thing. You loosen off the Allen key. You take these out, put them in here, and tighten slowly, and it'll pull itself out as well. Okay. So yeah, one guy was telling me that I guess one of the wheels was coming off, and this is due to if this is crooked. If you have your jack shaft crooked, then it's not going to be, you won't be very happy, and the jack shaft won't be very happy. So once you've done that, and you've got your measurements right here, like I said, mine's 15 3/4. Yours isn't going to be that. It's going to be whatever the belt. If it's old and you have to tighten it, remember 110 pounds when you put the torque wrench on here. All right, you you push 110 pounds, and it should only move like 1/4 of an inch, or sound like a low D guitar string. You hear it? Doing, doing, doing. Yes. Okay, that's fine. Now, that's kind of the jack shaft. I hope you guys got it. And again, with the measurements from here, from down here to the pulley here, mark it in the center. The measurements have to be the same. So, also, if you've run into a problem and you put a new belt on, and you're looking at these belts here and go, oh my God, it's crooked. Well, then you have to bring this bearing down, and you might have to loosen this bearing to let it go, or you might have to bring it back up. As you bring this one down, you might have to bring this one up to tighten the belt again. So this is what you're doing. You're tightening that belt at 110 pounds to deflect 1/4 of an inch, okay? And so it doesn't matter what you do up here with the pillow bearings, as long as you end up with straightness from here to here, the same measurement. Then you know that your upper shaft is straight and the belt is straight, okay? So that's what you do. Again, if you do remove pulleys, just give them a quick measurement in there. Try and get them the same. Look, give them a picture before you take them off, just so you can see how far in it is from the factory and whatever. Try and set it back at that, okay? Now, we're going to just pause for a second, and then I'm going to go over the other belts. Okay, so we have adjusted the cutter wheel belt, okay? We're all good there. If you're not, just whatever, you got to watch the video again. It's not that complicated, okay? So then we've tightened these back down to about 125 pounds, 150 pounds for the pillow bearings, okay? And then hold that with a 1/2 inch, and then lock it. So tighten these down first, so when you go to lock it, it doesn't move the pillow bearings again from your measurements. So this is really what you've got to do. Okay, and down here the same thing. So tighten pillow bearings first, about 150 pounds, and then tighten your lock things. You don't have to kill them. Just, right up here. Sorry. Right up here, just press it up against the pillow bearing, and then with the locking nut, lock it the other way. You have to use the open end wrench. It's a bit of a drag in there, but that's how it goes. Okay? So now, these belts here. All right. They're easy to tighten. Just wanted to go over somebody was asking me about how do you take these belts off. Well, it's a bit of a problem. Let's just see. I'm just going to take one of these belts off here. You see? Because when you go to take it off, it doesn't want to. You see? No. It says, no, 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 I want to do it now. Okay? So you're going to have to remove the hydraulic belt. And by doing so, I have a video on that as well. There's 4. You see those bolts in there? There's one there. Another one there you might not be able to see. This one's dirty. There's one there. And you can tell which bolts they are because you see it's a slider. So this box here, this casing box right here, will slide independent of the motor, okay? So you loosen those 4 bolts and just pull it ahead. Pull the whole box ahead, okay? Sorry guys, I'm doing this a la carte here. Okay, you pull that ahead, take this belt off, and then what you've got is a little bolt here that you have to take out. It just kind of holds the clutch. Once you take this bolt out, you can move this a little bit up that way. And the easiest way is to follow this line here all the way down and around. It's got a bolt on the engine. Take it off and then pull this wire out. Be careful. Take it out, and then this will give you the freedom that you need without removing the clutch to get that belt off, because the hydraulic belt won't be there. This won't be there. We'll move it that way, and this will pull it out. Okay, guys? So that's how you do that. All right. Now, okay, we put the belt back on here. Son of a mother's... Okay, good. It's on there. We don't have to go too crazy. And life is good again. Okay. Now, the interesting part. Okay. We are going to tighten these belts. And how we do that is very magical. You just go and tighten this, eh? All right. Bring that in. Remember the other one? You got to have it slacked off so the motor can go ahead. I used it to push the motor back. But the motor, you know, you loosen these 2 off and the motor will kind of slide, eh? Okay. So this one here, I have to back off because I need the motor to come ahead. And you know what I mean? You can't do the jack shaft, or tighten, sorry, the cutter drive wheel without doing this, eh? Like, you have to slack off the motor. You're going to end up doing it anyway. So, because if you go to try and pull this pillow bearing down, the belts will be tight. And you'll be going, oh, what happened? Anyway, okay. So now we're pushing the motor forward, okay? And we keep going. Again, keep checking down here that the slack is still good. Yep, we still have a little slack. So you do that. Okay, all right. Sorry about all this. Okay, then the belts will start to tighten up. Now these belts here don't have to be too tight. They only have to deflect if you get one of those pen type things, or even do it by hand. It's it's about 10 pounds. Eh? You don't have to go nuts. So bring the engine back, and also eyeball the track of the belts. Make sure they're not crooked. If they are, you've done something wrong here with the shaft measurements. But if you do it shaft to shaft and measure, you're not going to have a problem with that. Okay. Now, and don't let me see you do anything else. All right. So these belts here, we've also checked the alignment. All right. So you keep moving the motor forward until these are, you know, pretty tight. You know, like 8 pounds. You can feel it, but we want them tight. And then, well, I guess if you've taken off the belt here, the hydraulic belt, you know, you just pop it back on, and you've got the 4 bolts in there. You grab the bottom, pull it, and tighten one over here. Then you grab the top and pull it, and tighten the one up in there. You see it? Okay. So that's how you tighten that and take this off too. You don't have to remove any pulleys or anything like that. You don't want to get into the clutch. You can better, like I said, take this off and this out and the hydraulic belt out, and then you can take these 2 belts if you have to off. Okay? All right. So that's how it's going. Again, always check your straightness. Just eyeball it even. It's not gonna, the motor doesn't allow it to really go sideways too much. So once you've done that, again, here's your moving forward pin here, and then use the nut to lock it. Same thing down here. Once you've got it tight, bring the nut in, put it against, or, you know, take the bolt, bring it in, and then the nut, hold it here and hold it there and tighten it after you've tightened here. So again, you got these 2 bolts for the engine. Once you're happy with the belt tension, tighten these 4 bolts. 1, 2, and we'll go to the other side to make sure. And again. And we got 1 and 2, okay? So set your belt tension and then tighten the motor bolts. And then the locking bolts and nuts, okay? So I think that should be it. Takes a little concentration. But, you know, there's your pin too. Make sure, never force the motor. If you're going forward, that means the other pin here is not giving it space to move forward. So always make sure you give yourself a lot of slack there, okay? So again, keep pushing this forward. Make sure that this has enough slack to go forward, okay? And then your belt tension's like 8 or 9 pounds deflection, of like a 1/4 inch, whatever. It's, you'll find out if you're squiggling or not. Anyway, that should do it. Then put your covers together and you're ready to roll. If there are any questions, I hope I covered everything. Thank you very much. If you like the video, please like, subscribe, I don't know, hate me on Twitter, like me on YouTube, I don't know. Thank you very much. From Russell, bye-bye.